All right, today we are going on a journey into one of the most incredible territories you could ever explore, the human psyche. And our guide for this trip is one of the greats, the Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung. We're going to use his work to try and draw a map of the soul.
Really think about that for a second. What's actually driving your thoughts, your feelings, your big dreams? And maybe the more interesting question is, what parts of you are hidden, even from yourself?
So let's just dive right in. And instead of thinking of Carl Jung as some dusty historical figure, I want you to picture him as a master cartographer. He wasn't mapping out continents, he was mapping the mind itself. And he created this incredible guide that we can still use today to navigate our own inner world.
Okay, so first things first, we've got to get the basic lay of the land. We need to understand the fundamental structure of the mind, at least as Jung saw it.
For Jung, the starting point was what he called the psyche. And this is a really simple but powerful idea. The psyche isn't just the thoughts you're aware of. It's the whole picture. Everything that makes you, you. That includes the stuff you know about, and more importantly, all the stuff you don't.
Jung used the perfect metaphor to explain this, the classic iceberg. You know the one. The conscious mind, our awareness or ego, that's just the tiny tip of the iceberg sticking out of the water. It's what we see every day. But the vast majority of our psyche, where all the real power and mystery is, well, that's the unconscious. It's the huge, immense part hidden deep below the surface.
And this is where Jung took a really radical leap. He suggested that beneath our own personal unconscious, there's something even deeper. He called it the collective unconscious. He thought of it as a kind of psychic inheritance, a shared database of experiences and symbols that connects every human being across every culture throughout all of time. It's the reason why the same myths, the same symbols, the same stories pop up all over the world completely independently.
So, if the collective unconscious is this vast shared landscape, then who lives there? Well, Jung called them the archetypes, and we're about to meet some of the most important ones.
So what exactly are archetypes? Just think of them as the recurring characters in the epic story of humanity. You know them instinctively. The hero, the wise old mentor, the mischievous trickster. They're these universal patterns that show up in our dreams and our stories because they represent basic human experiences we all just get.
Now, the first archetype we deal with every single day is the persona. This is our public mask. It's the professional you at your job, the good son or daughter with your parents, the fun-loving friend on a night out. It's a super important tool, right? It helps us fit in and get by in the world. But it is not the whole story of who you are.
And this is a question that's really worth sitting with for a moment. We all have parts of ourselves that just don't fit with that polished persona we show everyone. You know, the anger, the jealousy, the secret desires we don't dare talk about. So, where does all that stuff go?
Well, it goes into the shadow. Now, the most important thing to get about the shadow is that Jung didn't see it as purely evil. Not at all. He saw it as all the parts of ourselves we've disowned or repressed. And sure, it holds our darker impulses, but it also holds incredible energy, creativity, and potential. That anger you push down might actually be the source of incredible passion and drive if you just learn how to face it. Jung was clear. To be a whole person, you must confront your shadow.
This next one is all about inner balance. Jung proposed that every one of us carries an inner counterpart to our biological sex. So for a man, that's the anima, the unconscious feminine side, representing things like emotion, relationship, and creativity. For a woman, it's the animus, the unconscious masculine side, representing logic, assertiveness, and reason. Jung thought that learning to integrate this inner opposite is absolutely key to growing up and having healthy relationships.
So, we've mapped the psyche. We've met the archetypes inside. But why? What's the point of all this inner exploration? For Jung, the goal was always the same. It was a quest for wholeness.
And that quest has a name: individuation. This is it. This is the absolute heart of Jung's entire psychology. It's the lifelong process, a journey of bringing the conscious and unconscious parts of yourself together into a harmonious whole. It's not about being perfect, it's about being complete. It's about becoming your most authentic self.
So how do you actually walk this path? Well, Jung laid out a kind of general sequence. It always starts with the courageous, and often difficult, work of confronting the shadow. From there, it's about embracing and understanding your inner opposite, the anima or animus. And all of this work leads you toward integrating the final, ultimate archetype,
The self. And it's so important to understand this. The self is not the same as the ego. The ego is just the center of your conscious mind. The self is the center of the entire psyche, conscious and unconscious combined. It represents the union of all those opposites we've been talking about. It's our unique potential realized. It's the ultimate goal of the journey.
So it's pretty clear this map of the soul is incredibly detailed and deep. But as we start to wrap this up, it's worth pointing out that Jung's influence goes way beyond these core ideas and into concepts that a lot of us use every single day.
Ever called yourself an introvert or an extrovert? That language comes directly from Carl Jung. His work on psychological types literally laid the foundation for so many of the personality tests people take today. And he also explored this idea of synchronicity, those meaningful coincidences that feel like they're way more than just chance. It's that moment you're thinking of an old friend and suddenly they call you out of the blue. Jung saw that as a possible bridge between our inner world and outer reality.
So the real takeaway here is this. Carl Jung's work isn't just some abstract theory for a textbook. It's a practical toolkit. It gives us a language and a map for self-discovery, helping us understand our own motivations, our relationships, and our unique path toward becoming who we're truly meant to be.
In the end, Jung's map doesn't give you all the answers. It can't. All it does is show you the territory and hand you a compass. The actual exploration? Well, that's up to you. So the question isn't just what lies beneath the surface of the mind in general, but what lies beneath the surface of your mind. Your inner journey is waiting. What will you discover?